Welcome to this next episode of Year in Review. In the previous episode, we spoke about a year in the life of students and the tremendous amount of challenges that the students have to face as they transition from school to getting into a college. Even though it may appear at that point in time as if that is the be all and end all of life, that is certainly not the case. Because once you get into graduation or even post graduation for that matter, you realize that an even bigger transition is waiting in the wings for you. And that transition is from academia to the industry. And that is what we are going to focus in today's episode. For those of you who've already made this transition and have spent at least a few years in the industry, you already know that academia in no way prepares you for what is ahead of you in the industry. This holds true even if you're graduating from the best of places. It holds true even if you're doing an MBA, which is most closely mirrored to the industry. Even if that MBA is from an IIM or a leading institute, as I myself found out many years ago. Over the course of these years, I have been fortunate enough to work in various roles. And after working for 11 years as the CEO of a leading firm, I got an opportunity to move out and be on my own this year and had the wonderful experience of working as an entrepreneur and also as a business advisor working closely with founders. My fairly long stint in corporates has also enabled me to advise a lot of people and mentor them on their career trajectory, on their growth path, what is it that they should be doing, what kind of steps they should be taking in order to propel their career forward. The one theme that cuts across all of these experiences is that theme of bridging the gap between what the academia prepares you for versus what the industry truly and really expects from you and needs you to do in order to be successful. So, what is the connection to this year in review series? What is it that happened during this year that I'm going to share my insights on? The one big thing that I was able to do this year was think very deeply about all of these gaps and condense them in the form of a structure and a framework that can be very easily understood and digested by people. And not only that, it acts as a springboard so that we can help other people accelerate this learning curve as we make this roller coaster transition from academia to industry. These are the quintessential packs that can take you farther in your career. So, what are these packs? Let's demystify them and understand each and every element of these packs. Yes, there is one element for each of the alphabet of packs, and starting with P, the first and foremost element that you need to go further beyond where the academia has taken you is around personal development. In one of the earlier episodes, I spoke about time management and how that is a misnomer. And in the new age and the new era, we need something different, a tool which helps you ensure that your time is well directed. And it is also not just well directed from the perspective of managing your day to day activities, but is well directed to take you in the right direction in your career or in terms of other life goals that you may be having. I have perennially seen people struggling with time management. Very often, when I ask people around me what is it that they want me to share with them, they would request me to speak on time management. I went about thinking, what is it about my approach to managing time, or rather ensuring that my time is well directed, that enables me to straddle across multiple disciplines, do a lot more with the time that I have, and yet leave enough time to pursue things that I truly enjoy. That is just one of the examples of the attributes around personal development that the academia just does not prepare you for. These are all skills that you can only pick up by practice or by having somebody with experience, somebody who's been through that entire learning life cycle, who can condense and package it for you so that you are able to navigate that journey and accelerate your path to the pinnacle of your career, your entrepreneurship, your freelancing career, whatever it is that you may be doing. Moving on, the second element in the packs is really about application of all the knowledge, information, theory, framework, structures, laws, whatever else you may have studied during your academia and putting it into practice. Merely having information or knowledge is no longer good enough. There was a time when information, knowledge, content was at a premium. because others did not have the same information or knowledge that you may have had. The methods of rote learning and cramming our grey matter and brains with information are long gone. Now is the age of application of this knowledge, and this knowledge can only be applied if we learn in a way that is experiential. Unfortunately, that is not the mold in which the education system is casting us. So, what do we need to do? As we transition from academia to industry, we realize that this is a huge gap. We may have theoretical knowledge, we may have functional knowledge, but we are finding it difficult to apply it. And one of the reasons why we find it very difficult to apply concepts to real life is because real life does not follow the precise laws and rules and formulae that we had studied while we were in school or college or even in our post graduation days. Real life is organic. It consists of implementing theories through people. And as you already know from your experience, people do not always behave in a certain predefined logical path which will follow all the rules that you have laid down or that are prescribed in a certain law of behavior of people. This is an organic process and it has its own uncertainties. People have their own whims and fancies. Even if we talk about application of concepts on the engineering and the sciences side, the way we go about learning these STEM subjects of science, technology, engineering, and maths leaves a lot to be desired. I was fortunate enough to have a wonderful discussion this year in one of the episodes of Unleash with FTEM with Prem Prasad Mirthini, who's an educator specializing in the STEM space, who's on a mission to make STEM learning more experiential for people. And this is not just about coding or programming or robotics. It is much more than that. It is application of core science into the real world. These are the kind of initiatives that we need to surround ourselves more and more with. The third element in the packs is around career management. This is another theme that I have consistently seen people struggling with. So, what is career management? Does it only mean knowing how to make a CV, knowing how to prepare for an interview, knowing how to land that next job, or get the next promotion, or get a good enough hike? These are very transactional elements in the larger space of career management. Career management implies that you are not just able to excel in these transactional activities, but also think strategically in terms of how you want to configure your career. Gone are the days when there was employment for life, not just in one company, but even across multiple companies. That is no longer how people see or visualize their careers. There are many more options that are available through which you can meaningfully engage personally, professionally, or from a learning standpoint. For instance, the question around careers is no longer about which industry should one go into, which functional role should one specialize in. It is also about configuring the way we want to work in that particular area or domain. Should we be in employment? Should we be freelancers? Should we become entrepreneurs? Should we become consultants? There are many such possibilities, and this is only one dimension. The number of permutations and combinations that are available to you multiply manifold because there are that many more possible streams or functions or domains which today you can work in. And we are not even counting the things which we don't even know about. These are professions or vocations of the future, which we do not have a label to, but we broadly know which is the space under which these new age careers will lie. That's the third of the packs. Coming to the fourth one, the fourth pack is around knowledge, and that ties in very closely with what I just mentioned about new age careers. New age careers, new age domains require new age knowledge. Even if we came out of college last year, it does not matter. Things are changing at such a fast clip that we continuously need to keep ourselves updated. Not just that, we do not live in silos. So even though we may have a lot of knowledge about our own area or our own silo, what we really need to do in order to be able to grow up the corporate ladder or be more effective as an entrepreneur is to be able to connect the dots across multiple different functions, across multiple different industries. And in doing that, we definitely need more and more knowledge. That knowledge may not have been available to us even as an option during our academic days, simply because academia so far has largely also been siloed. We have not had the culture of multidisciplinary institutes, multidisciplinary courses, which is only now coming into the force with the NEP or the new education policy that came out just about a couple of years ago. And implementation, of course, will take its own time. But in the meantime, you do not have time to waste, and one really needs to be strategic about the kind of knowledge that they want to acquire if they have to meet their future aspirations. And last but not the least, the most powerful element of the packs is around skills. What industry values us is not for the knowledge we bring to the table, and definitely not for our mark sheets or grades or other distinctive academic credentials that we have. But what industry truly values is our ability to deliver. And deliver implies doing. And doing can only and only come if we have the right skills. Doing does not come from knowing. Of course, you need to have a basic awareness or knowledge of something in order to get skilled at it. But when the rubber hits the road, you really need to excel in being able to do something and being able to be skilled at something. Once again, I will take an example which will make things very clear for you. So let's say you are an MBA from a leading IIM or a leading management institute of the country, and you go ahead and join a company. It could be any role. It could be a marketing company, it could be an IT company, it could be a financial services company. It does not matter whether it is in the first year itself or it is only a matter of time. In a few years, one of the key expectations from you is going to be that you will need to sell, because sales or churning the revenue cycle is essentially what is the most valued skill in the industry. And let's correlate this back to what we studied while we were doing BBA or MBA or any other such course. Of course, the others won't even come close, but I'm taking the examples of business courses which are most closely aligned to the industry. So even if you've had the good fortune of doing an MBA from one of the leading institutes of the country, you would still not have acquired those sales skills. Certainly not as a virtue of your academic credentials or the 1 or 2 years that you spend during your MBA. This is a skill that can only and only be learned through practice, or it can be learned by shared experiences and insights of people who have been doing that for many years together. That is just one example. There are many more such examples of skills, whether we are talking about hardcore business skills or we are talking about soft skills or the new age skills that are required in the 21st century. It does not matter. I am sure you will be able to draw up a very long laundry list of skills that you have acquired by virtue of your work experience. Whether you have been working for 1 year or 10 years, the list is still going to be very long. And if I ask you, what are the skills that you need to develop in order to succeed in the coming 10 years? Maybe the answer will not be that obvious to you, but it will be obvious to somebody who's already spent those additional 10 years or at least reached that level where you want to reach. So that is the essence of these 5 packs that will help you propel in your careers. As you can see, this is an extremely powerful framework which can help you across multiple dimensions. And I've thought through most of the things that either I have learned personally or I have seen other people learn as they have made this transition from academia to getting their foothold in the industry to becoming industry leaders or veterans or in any other way climbing to the pinnacle of success. This is an enormously powerful framework which has the potential to completely change the way we look at education, to completely change the way we look at developing skills, acquiring knowledge, or even thinking about careers or ourselves. However, this is not something that one organization, one institute, let alone one individual like me, can even dream of doing it all alone. If we have to make this change for the better of a lot of people who are going to be walking in the shoes that we have walked earlier, we definitely need to make this into a movement. So as we wind down during this year and start thinking about our plans for the next year, I would encourage you to think deeply about this, to think about what are those elements which you have gained from your experience, what are those packs that you have developed. In case you are motivated enough to share some of your learnings, either with me or our platform, or with those other people who are a few steps behind in the journey that you have already taken, it will be a great help and service. This is not the only way in which you can be associated with this movement. Even if you're somebody who's just looking at guidance, mentorship, or learning from the shared experiences of others who have walked the path before you, I would be very happy to have you join this movement. What I will do in order to facilitate this and turn this into a conversation rather than just a video on YouTube, which you can like and comment and share. Of course, I would love for you to do that. And while we are at it, please take a moment to do exactly that. Drop in your comments about what you liked about the packs framework. What are some of the packs that you have developed or that you need to develop in the coming times? And definitely do share it with your network. But coming back to the question of how we turn this YouTube video into a conversation and into an ongoing movement, what I have done is created a link. You will find it in the description below, and you can just click through and then we can see how we can take that conversation forward. As we are looking into the new year and new times and new initiatives, one of the big things that I want to do next year along with you is to ensure that these packs are not just frameworks or guidelines that are there on YouTube videos or on presentations or in online courses, but it becomes a movement and people can gain from the 10, 20, 50, 100 threads that we will find in each one of these 5 packs. I look forward to receiving your comments and hearing more from you in the link mentioned below in the description. So with that, I will see you in the next episode.